I don't want to sound too egotistical here, but I would be shocked if the funnel that we just talked about doesn't beat the current one that you have. On your sales call, you give them the two prices?
Yeah.
I think that's a big mistake. The amount that you were actually taking home felt like very small.
The ad spend was 4,500 and the cash collected was... We didn't collect that much cash.
Do you think that if you just sold it for the $2,995 that people would not be able to afford that, or what? Welcome to Constraint Call. I'm Ravi Abuvala. I interview founders doing anywhere from $50,000 a month to $10 million a month, identify the single biggest constraint holding their business back, and we solve it live on the call. Today I have Luke. Luke, in your own words, if you can explain what your business is, what you're doing in monthly revenue right now, and what you think your biggest constraint is.
Okay, cool. So we run an 8-week addiction counseling program for high-functioning professionals and entrepreneurs. And the revenue we're growing in Q1 of this year, and we got to like 27k pounds, about 40k dollars in April. But the ROAS was not where we wanted it to be, so I got a copywriter to rewrite the funnel and launched it. But we changed kind of too many things, and since then the business has kind of gone down by like half. In terms of the constraint, I would definitely say it's sort of the marketing, the Facebook ads, the ROAS is not sort of where we want it. And that's the kind of main thing we're sort of struggling at the moment, because we have the capacity with the team and availability, but just not so much with the marketing side of things.
So got it. So you were doing roughly 40,000 USD in April, but the ROAS wasn't where you wanted it. So you changed a bunch of stuff, and instead of helping it, it actually hurt it. Is that correct?
Yep, correct.
Okay. So let's start with some simple stuff. So 8-week addiction program for high performers. First of all, addiction, any kind of addiction, or is there like a specific type of addiction?
So it's mostly alcohol, and also can be cocaine sometimes as well, but I'd say mostly alcohol.
Okay. And then talk to me about the pricing. Is it the same pricing for everybody for 8 weeks? And what is the cost?
So the cost is for the 8-week, we have 8-week package, which is 1,995 in pounds. And then we have 16 weeks where they get the initial 8 weeks plus 8 weeks of aftercare, and that's 2,995.
So that's a second offer, but you offer that on the original call?
Yep. So we offer kind of both of them. If they want to kind of have the upsell then and secure some more sessions for their support, they can add that on.
And so that's 1,995 pounds for the 8 weeks. And then what was the second price point?
2,995 for the 16 weeks.
Great. And then what's the split, like revenue wise, let's say of the 40K you did in April, or let's say the 20K you did last month, roughly, what is the split of the people taking the 1,995 versus the 2,995?
I'd say like 30% of people take the upsell, but also we do have some people who will do the 8 weeks, then they'll get to the end, then they'll rebill and just add on some more sessions at the end. And just to clarify, it is 1-to-1 at the moment, so it's all like 1-to-1 sessions. With the 8 sessions or the 16, they're all delivered 1-to-1 with a counsellor.
Okay. And what percentage of people that are, let's say, doing either the 1995 or the 2,995 will buy something again from you guys?
I'd say about like 25% of the people who do just the 8 weeks rebill. The ones who do the 16 weeks, they don't rebill as much.
And what would be the offer for the people at the end of the 16 weeks? Do you have one, or is it just like more of the same?
Yeah, so they can just do 8 sessions and the price goes down a bit. That's $599 if they want to do another 8 sessions at the end.
Okay. It's probably not enough to even calculate that, how much it impacts LTV. But let's say for the 2,995, if you're saying 25% of people will get that from the 1,995, that adds $749 to that. So we'll say 70%. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to figure out what the average client is worth to you. So 1,995 times 1,369. Okay, so I have your rough lifetime value here at about $3,000. I got that by saying 70% of 1,995 pounds is 1,300, 30% of 2,995 pounds is 900, and then 25% of the 2,995, because that's how many ascend from the 1,995, is 748. So I got about 3,000 LTV. That's rough math. It's not 100%. There's ways we can go deeper in there, but does that sound about right to you, or what?
Yeah, that does sound about right.
Okay, so let's talk about that as well. What is the average upfront amount that you're collecting on that first call?
The average, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know off the top of my head. The average amount I'm collecting off the call I'd say like most people do pay in full the 2K. Some of them, I'd say like maybe like 30% pay like a payment plan. So they'll pay 799 a month over 3 months. So it's like 2,400 over the 3 months.
Okay.
And I'd say, yeah, like a small percentage do that. Most people pay the upfront 2K.
Okay. So what we'll do is, just because we also have the 2,995, we'll just assume the upfront, just for easy back and napkin math, is $1,500 on average, because that's roughly the numbers that we got here from you telling me that 70% of people pay, if 30% of people don't. It might be a little bit above that, but I know that also some people aren't completing their payment plans. So does that seem fair? Like on average, you feel like you're
Yeah,
collecting about $1,500 upfront whenever you close the deal?
for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so and then talk to me about your costs. Do you have, like, whenever somebody closes for either the 2K or the 3K, how much does it cost you to fulfill?
Yeah, so in terms of the fulfillment cost, so with the 2K one, that costs £320 to fulfill. And then the 3K one is like literally double that, so 640. That's the kind of cost for the counsellors. And then you also have off that VAT, so we lose like 20% of revenue due to something in the UK called VAT, which sucks. So we actually, yeah, just lose 20% of that. Then we have the counsellors, and then the rest is sort of left over for kind of Facebook ads and other sort of costs.
So let's just say we'll split it down the middle. We'll say 18% cost of goods sold, and then you're losing an additional 20% to VAT. You gotta love the
Yeah.
UK. So we'll just make it easy. We'll say 40% right off the top you're losing to cost of goods sold and VAT whenever you close a deal. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so whenever you close a deal, on average, you're getting $3,000 in lifetime value, but you're only getting $1,500 in profit. And whenever you close a client up front, on average, it's $1,500 in upfront cash, but really only $750 in profit. Does that check out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. This is all really helpful. So now let's go into the ad side of things. So let's go maybe do April and maybe last month if you have the numbers there. But in April you did 40K. What was the ad spend?
The ad spend was 4,500 roughly, and the cash collected was yeah, like 12,875. So yeah, we didn't collect that much cash, and also yeah, like obviously the rest of a lot of the revenue is coming from the organic SEO side of things as well. There's not
So
just the
is it
ads running.
12,875 directly attributed to the ad spend? Is that
Yeah, yeah,
okay?
yeah,
Okay. So and that's so 4,500 you spent and you got 12,875 out from that 4,500.
yeah, yeah. That was in April. Yeah,
So you're looking at a 2.8x cash return on ad spend. Is that correct?
yeah, yeah.
And just so I can double check my own math, um, did you close like roughly 8 clients in April?
Yeah, yeah. From the Facebook ads, it was yeah 8 clients. Yeah,
Okay, perfect. So that lets us know our math is good, because I took that 12,875 in cash. I divided by that $1,500 upfront cash on average per client, and I got 8 clients from it. So it looks like our math is holding, which is always good news. Um, okay, so 4,500 divided by 8. So you're at a $562 cost per acquisition.
yeah. But from
And
there, that's
then
when we sort of switched to the new funnel, and it kind of went down the months after that, and kind of went yeah.
if you want me and my team to install any of these systems in your business done for you, make sure you go down below and book a free revenue system diagnostic call. We're going to get on a call, identify your biggest bottleneck, and show you exactly what we would do to solve it there live. The best news is we offer every single client a no questions asked money back guarantee. If you want to be featured on our next constraint call, go down below and apply. We'll do last month in a second, but 562 cost per acquisition, and we're averaging $1,500 in cash. Now, the only downside is that we're really taking home $750 in profit from this. We're a little bit more, 1,500 times 0.6, $900 in cash. So $900 in profit. So you're spending 562 to make 900 in profit, and you're spending 562 to make in the first 30 days, and then 3,000 times 0.6, 1,800. Okay. Have you heard Hormozy talk about CAC and lifetime gross profit before?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, and then are you the salesperson or do you have a salesperson?
So I am the salesperson as well. Yeah.
Okay. So then we're saying 562 uh into 900. So 1.6 1 to 1.6 CAC to LTGP for the first 30 days and 3.2 CAC to LTGP over the 8 weeks. So I took the 562 cost per acquisition and I divided it into your 30-day lifetime gross profit, which is 60% of $1,500. So that would be 1 to 1.6 CAC to LTGP in the first 30 days. And then I took that same 562 cost per acquisition and I put it into your total lifetime gross profit, which would be 1 to 3.2, which technically speaking, anything above 1 to 3 is a good CAC to LTGP. But I would imagine to you, you felt, even up front, if we just look at total return on ad spend, you had roughly a 2.8x return on ad spend. But I would imagine why you wanted to change was because your profits was so low. Your CAC to LTGP was 1 to 1.6. Is that right? Is it because even though you were making money, even on the ROAS side, the amount that you were actually taking home felt like very small? Does that sound right, or was there a different reason?
Yeah, so that was definitely a reason, for sure. And it was also like the consistency. So the CAC was lower in that month, but then the other months it kind of got higher and it's gone up sort of since then, to almost kind of double. So that squeezed like the profit as well. And yeah, I think the thing is yeah, like you said, there's not necessarily enough profit left over sometimes.
Okay. And um, was April like your best month as far as your cost
Yeah.
per acquisition was concerned?
So yeah, I think April has been the best month. So yeah, that was just like a standout month that was really, really good.
What did you do in cash in February?
In February it was like 7,000 cash collected with 5,000 of spend. So yeah, like completely,
Mm.
yeah,
And
like
what's your funnel look like right now? Is it, or what was it then? Is it a call funnel or what is it?
yeah. So it's a VSL funnel. I can show you through both the funnels, but it's just VSL directly on the page after the ad. Then they have like a little quiz to answer a few questions to make sure they're qualified. Then they book a call, show you for the call, and then I close them.
Okay. All right. Let's just walk through just the numbers because we're already here. On in April, how many booked calls? How many showed? And we already have the close, so you can give me those numbers.
In terms of April, so I don't have the exact showed, but the booked calls was like 48, and we were getting about like a 40% show rate, so 40% of 48.
So $93 cost for booked call.
Yeah,
$4,500 in ad spend divided by 48 booked calls is a $93 cost per booked call. And
yeah,
you said you had a 40% show rate?
yeah,
Okay. So 93 divided by 0.4. So a 232 cost per taken call. 19 taken calls, of which you had a 50% close rate. Or
yeah.
a
So
little
when
bit
they
less than
do,
that. 8 out of 19. Okay, so now that we have April, what did you change? What's the funnel now? What's different between April and now?
so I got a copywriter to rewrite the whole funnel because I wanted to get above like a 3x ROAS. So they rewrote everything.
You realize you're at a 2.8x ROAS in April.
Yes,
So
yes,
you
correct,
changed
yes.
everything to get 0.2x in additional ROAS.
Yes, in hindsight, that sounds like a stupid thing to do, but correct.
Okay.
Factually, that is correct for
Fair
sure.
enough. Okay, sorry, continue. So rewrote everything. Go ahead.
Rewrote everything and also changed the structure of the funnel as well. So it was now just an opt-in to a VSL page with more text. And because we are in the addiction industry, that's the reason we put an opt-in in there so that we can kind of lead Facebook to a more vanilla page. Then once they opt in on the VSL page that she wrote, it was more aggressive, like addiction language that we needed to kind of hide. So then we had that VSL page. Then there was less qualifying questions. I removed some of them and just made it simpler. And then they then kind of booked from that page, and then again show to the call and after. But I've got both of the funnels laid out on a spreadsheet I can show you if you want, so you can see the difference in conversion rates between both of them. Because one of them, the new one was showing people were showing up, but they weren't closing, and the old one, people weren't showing up, but they were closing. So there's kind of like a break between the two.
So just so we don't have to spend the whole time on it, what ended up being, let's say last month, what was ad spend, what was new cash, so I can figure out those numbers.
So last month your ad spend was like 3,558, and cash was like 5,789.
So is that roughly 4 clients?
Yes, that's about 4 clients. Yep, that was 4 clients, about 1.63 ROAS, and about 890 sort of pound CAC.
Yep, and at 900 profit, so you're 1.01, 1 to 1.01 CAC to LTGP for the 30 days. Yes, we will look at the funnel in just one moment here, but you're saying essentially you had a higher show rate on this funnel, but a lower close rate.
Yeah.
So walk me through the numbers. We're just before we share the thing. How many booked calls? What was show rate, and we'll go from there.
So yeah, in terms of the booked calls, there were 48 booked calls in July.
Same amount as
And
April.
yeah, it did just happen to be the same amount. That's what the spreadsheet says. So yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So
That's
$75 cost per booked call.
yeah. And then in terms of the show rate, it was around like 76%.
So $100 cost per taken call. So 36 taken calls. Okay, and then we had 4 clients. So you had 11% close rate.
Yeah.
Wow, this is a great example of how some numbers can look better and other numbers look worse, and you end up worse than you were before. Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously the April funnel, even though you didn't love it, it was definitely better than the July funnel. And the July funnel looks like it's optimizing more for just getting booked calls and getting them to show up, but not necessarily close. So yeah, you can show if you want to share the funnels now. I would love to see the difference between these 2 funnels.
This is the original funnel.
And just so I know, did
Uh,
the ads stay the exact same?
um, yes, virtually, yeah, they did. They were the same like angles, the same sort of ads. They weren't the exact same ads, but they were like similar in context and angles
And you had
yeah.
said that the addiction language you adjusted. Were you getting a bunch of disapproved ads on Facebook, or were you just trying to be like proactive
No,
with it?
so yeah, the ad side it's been okay. I haven't got any ads kind of disapproved. Touch wood. They're all good on that side, and I was running similar sort of ads the kind of whole time. I just changed the funnel where the ads were kind of going to.
Okay, because you had said that you adjusted the funnel so that there wasn't so much strong addiction language on it, but there wasn't like you were getting a bunch of disapproved ads, so you did it. You just did it because you thought that you might eventually get disapproved ads.
Yeah, no. So I changed the funnel as in like the VSL page of the new funnel. What the copywriter wrote was way more extreme, so we needed to then hide it behind like an opt-in page. Whereas this funnel, the one I'm showing you now, which was the old one, directly went to just the VSL page straight away, so it didn't have any opt-in.
Okay, great. Okay,
Yeah.
let me see. Design for however. Do you have is that an exit pop-up or what?
Yeah, that's an extra pop-up. Yeah.
Okay.
Then it just has the reviews down here,
Okay. Scroll to the bottom.
and then
Okay, go back up. Okay, click on the ready to control. And then just fill that out real quick. None of that's autocomplete.
no, what was in
As
yeah,
in, when
no,
you
none
put
of
your
that.
mouse on it, doesn't say, Luke's worstful.
No,
Okay.
no.
Keep it going.
So yeah, just say alcohol, what's it impacting, and then this is why is now a good time, and then yeah, if they select that they're employed, retired, unemployed, it kind of kicks them out. So they have to be a business owner or executive on this funnel. And then again, if they click under 20K, it kicks them out. They have to be above a certain number. And then it says are you ready to kind of make the change? And then if they say no, again, they get kicked out. If they say maybe or yes, they get to stay. And then just go through to the Calendly booking page.
Okay, click on the calendar to me. Okay. All right, go back to the previous page and also just show me it on mobile real quick. If you right
Whereas in
click,
the
if you right click, you can click on inspect. Oh, you already know what to do. So you see on the bottom left hand side to the left of it. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Why is that book a call like aligned to the left?
I'm not sure, just because it's like embedded from Typeform. It's something like
Mm.
Typeform button. It is annoying. But yeah, that could be centered for sure.
Okay. All right. Show me the new funnel.
Okay, so the new funnel, that was this page. This was the opt-in page. And yeah, this was the headline and stuff. And then when you opted into it, it then went to this
Do
page.
the opt-in. Click on the opt-in. Okay. So how many leads did you get on the second funnel?
So this was the new one. We got like 507 leads over like a 3-month period, versus 122. So we did get way more leads.
Yeah, but let's see. It's from Facebook. What we really care about is, and you have a drop off for people that apply. So it says qualified leads, and then percent that booked is that's of the qualified leads.
Yeah.
Okay. So hold on, scroll this. So that's 35. Scroll to the left a little bit. 5, 7, 6, 7. So 2.6%. So you have a 0.6% click to book qualify book call on the first funnel, and then 148. Scroll to the left if you don't mind. 4969.
Yeah, one really important thing though, there's just another stupid thing in hindsight, is the qualification change. So you saw on the first funnel, we asked them all those questions. On the second funnel, we only asked them, are you an executive or entrepreneur? Like, what's your job role? So the definition of qualified lead was loosened also for the second funnel.
So go take me to the second funnel, that we can take me to the application.
So the second funnel was this page, and then it went to here. And then on here, they just have a form. Again, it's not using Calendly, it's now using a different iClose thing.
Yeah, iClose.
And then if you fill in this one, I've changed it actually. I don't know why it's saying this, but before it just said this question here. So this is all it was before. So it just had this question here, and then they booked basically. So it's just that one question, without any of the others, and then they just booked.
Okay. Have you ever tried to increase your pricing before?
So we did increase it in January. Last year it was 1K, and in January we increased it to 2K. So we have increased it since last year. We could increase it again.
All right, so a few things are going on here. Yeah, obviously the main constraint is your CAC to LGP. So you're running currently at 1 to 1, so you're breaking even up front, and then 1 to 2 over looks like 16 weeks on average, 8 to 16 weeks. So very difficult to scale the company there. But the good news is it's like not so far gone, and I think there's a few things that I think can be adjusted there. We'll talk about lowering cost per acquisition in a moment, but I always look at pricing as the first levers because typically it's one of the easiest things to do. Just immediately you charge more. And second of all, it has the biggest impact, right? You double price. Well, if you still give the same amount of counselor hours, you could potentially quadruple profit, if depending on how it's worked out there. So it's a very powerful thing to do. One of the things that I wanted to bring up is on your sales call, do you literally say you can either do the 8 weeks or the 16 weeks? You give them the two prices?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a big mistake because for $1,000 difference, it's like almost anybody would be like, oh, well, let me start with the 8 weeks, and if I need more help, I'll do the 16. Do you find that to be the case?
Some people do say, oh, can't I just start with the 8 weeks and add on more if I like? And I'm like, yeah, well, technically you can. You don't just get kicked out. So some people do downsell themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And $1,000 difference, it's like for the people that, so how much is the average person making that you're getting on these calls with?
Yeah, above 50K for sure. Some of them above 175 and that kind of stuff.
So, oh, you're saying a
Ideally,
year?
yeah, yeah,
Okay. So let's say we'll say 65,000 divided by 12 is $5,400 a month that they're making. Do you think that if you just sold it for the 2,995 that people would not be able to afford that, or what?
yeah. When we were targeting more like employee people, they couldn't afford the 2K. It's high for them. And I feel like some of the people who earn more, who are like entrepreneurs, business owners on six figures plus, to them, we're almost charging them too less. Like 2K is almost too small. So I feel like we're kind of stuck between we're outpricing the employees and we're undercharging the kind of higher end, high net worth
I couldn't
earners.
agree with you more, but in your funnel, you're already disqualifying people that aren't entrepreneurs. So why not price it towards the entrepreneurs?
Yeah, true. Good point. Good point. What? And a lot of them do easily just go for 3K, pay in full. Like they just don't care. Like they're just like, yep, sure. And I want the aftercare. Just help me solve the problem. So the higher quality leads do tend to pay more in full for the higher price. What price would you charge, or would you test
Well,
it?
let
Like
me
how would
ask you
you?
this. In your sales script process, do you anchor the value of getting the addiction fixed?
No, I guess not. I mean, some people have naturally done that. They're like, oh, it's cheaper than a divorce. Some guy said, Luke, I'll pay you whatever you want. It's cheaper than a divorce. So, like, there has been some of that. Could be an anchor, for example, or rehab is like 20K plus. So, there are definitely anchors you could add in there, but that's not something we do at the moment.
Yeah, ultimately, you need to bake that into the sales script, so specifically right before you get to the pitch. And it's both of those things, right? So there should be one section where you are comparing it to the cost of not getting it done. So, in an example here, in your sales script, you could set up the system so that depending on what they said they wanted to stop, because I'm sure you do ask, like, why you want to stop the addiction. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So let's say it's for their kids, let's say it's for their wife, let's say it's for work. Depending on what they say, you should be able to pull that into a specific anchor of what it would cost to not get it done. So a divorce on average is $40,000, right? Does that math check out for you? Or, you're an entrepreneur, you're making $200,000 a year, and you said that you're valuing your time at $500 an hour. Well, if you can get back your mornings, let's say 3 hours every single morning, that should be roughly this amount every single day. Does that math check out for you? So when you ask them, does that math check out for you? You're now going to anchor the cost of inaction, and help you set up the your pricing here in a moment, where it's like, okay, sure, it's 4 grand, but you should easily be able to make this back in 2 or 3 months based on what your, let's say, monthly hourly rate is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you know, that does make perfect sense. Yeah.
And then the second part of it, so there's a cost of inaction, and then there's cost of alternate options. So now you have to then show them, okay, great, yeah, we couldn't agree more. This is easily costing you 3 grand every single month. And if you went out somewhere else to do this, let me just read you through a couple of the rehab centers that some of our clients have gone to before they worked with us. This famous rehab center is 20 grand. This rehab center is 15 grand. Does that make sense to you, or do you see how going to rehab? And let's just talk about rehab centers really quickly, because a lot of people bring this up. So the average statistical relapse of people that go to rehab center is 46%. The average cost of rehab center is $20,000. And then there is the embarrassment or the life cost of having to leave your life and go behind and go to this thing here, which is immeasurable. So can you understand why rehab centers are maybe not the right move to be able to fix this? So then we're going to get the buy-in from that. So now not only are we showing them what they're doing, what they're missing by keeping it the same, we're also showing them your pretty much the alternative option would be the rehab center, the cost of that. And now we're almost narrowing them in to being able to agree that your solution is the right solution. And like you had said earlier, they're going to say, whatever the cost is, I'm willing to pay it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One question I have is in terms of the other side. Sometimes they're like, "Oh, it's just counselling. I can pay someone £60 an hour for counselling. Why am I going to pay you hundreds of pounds an hour? Like when you're charging for me for 8 hours, they may do the maths like, oh, divided by eight, whatever the number. Why am I paying that for you when I could pay X, Y, Z for this person over here?
Yeah,
How do
so
I handle that?"
it's a good question. Ultimately, what you want to do is work on the packaging of the offer. So it really shouldn't just be counseling hours. If it's just counseling hours, it is difficult to do. The only way you can combat counseling hours is success rates, right? So, for example, I was working with a therapist recently, and he was $3,000 an hour, or I could work with people underneath him and they were trained in his methodology and they're $300 an hour. So why does he charge 10 times more? Well, because he has such a higher success rate than his students because he's been doing it for so long. So you can justify a higher price point if you're able to say our average student, 80% of our students are addiction free 3 months later, which by the way, that's a great stat that you should definitely be getting on the, do you have that number or no?
Yeah, yeah, we do have it written down, and we do have some stats on one of the pages, like 98% report like interrupt their old pattern of addiction in 4 weeks, and like
Those are things you
96%
need to be
report their
weaving
cravings.
into the sales call, also on the video sales letter script and the video sales letter page. But those are really big elements of it there. So, oh, I could just go to any counselor. Yeah, I'm sure you could, but not every counselor has a 98% of clients seeing, self-reported interruption of their addiction pattern. So now you're elevating it further, which by the way, if you get that objection a lot, like why don't I just pay that? You have to create a pre-objection for it. So in the script, you need to be able to say, whenever you drop, like, and you get 8 hours or 16 hours, you need to be able to say, and this isn't just like you're going on, BetterHelp, which is in the US. I don't know if that's in the UK, going to BetterHelp and getting a therapist there for $30 an hour. These are people that are trained in my methodology, and we have a 98% self-reported, interruption of addiction with. So now it's like, okay, now you're pre-handling why is this more expensive than me going out and doing it on your own, and then you should try to find other ways that you can add value to it, whether it's course material, coaching, group coaching calls, access to you. It could be in-person meetups once a year, but you do want to have like, if it's just literally counseling hours and that's it, then what I just told you will help. But if you can add intangibles or tangibles to the pitch that doesn't increase your costs, it could make it easier to justify a higher price point.
Yeah. Yeah, so we do have like videos and worksheets and stuff they get and our own kind of program and structure and that kind of stuff, which definitely helps. I could also do a group call with me, so they get their counselor with the one-to-ones, but they also get access to me as well in a group or something.
And
That would also kind of help.
do you have a risk reversal?
Yeah, we have a 7-day money back guarantee and a 60-day money back guarantee as well. Yeah.
Okay, so then that's the other thing. People will pay for assurances. So if there's a higher chance that it's going to be successful, then you can charge more money. So if you have a 60-day money back guarantee and maybe it's based on the definition of what that 98% is there, then I would really be leaning into that heavily in the ads and in the video sales letter and in the sales script to really help increase this close rate and increase your price point. Like if I was going to charge you $1,000, like so let's say for me, we offer a return on investment guarantee. So we would guarantee that we're going to get your money back that you invested to work with us through the marketing system that we built. Well, I could charge 5 grand for it, but if I'm telling you we're going to guarantee the money back, why would I not charge 10 grand? Why would I not charge 12 grand? Because it doesn't really matter if we're guaranteeing that there's going to get the money. Now, if I said, oh, maybe you get your money back, maybe you don't, well, then I'm going to charge it less because there's a lot of risk involved in that. But if I remove the risk, then I might as well just charge more money for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, yeah.
So I would consider doing everything we just said here and try and get rid of the 1995 and try to move it to 3,000 to 4,000 pounds. And I would also, because the issue right now of going to 1995 to the 2,995 is that you're essentially doubling your cost of goods sold. So even though you are increasing price point, you're really not increasing profit by that much more because your hours are going up. So I would try to maybe make it where instead of going from like 8 one-on-one calls to 16, maybe it's like 8 to 12 or something like that. So that, you don't want to have costs that grow as you increase price point. You want costs to stay here and your ability to increase price goes here because that margin is what's allowing you to reinvest back in the business. Now, I'm not saying ship your customers. Maybe because you're doing the one a week, maybe that's the reason you have the 98% thing. So if that's the case, then keep it. But a lot of people just do things because they've always done it that way. So it could be worth doing an audit to see if there's any way you can get some of that cost back.
Yeah, okay, no, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And yeah, it definitely can be flexible with the hours and stuff and charge higher price, take a few hours off and that kind of stuff. That's all good.
Like if we went back to the April funnel and the April numbers, if you were just able to have the average person pay the 3,000 instead of the 2,000, you would be at the 3x ad spend. You'd be above the 3x ad spend, right? If we say that you're collecting on average 50% up front, or you had said 70% up front, so 3,000
Yeah.
times 0.7. So you'd be collecting 2,100 and your cost per acquisition in April was 562, you'd be at 3.7x ROAS on in 30 days. You know,
Yeah.
and you're not even that's not if we take a full 3,000, you've been a 5.3x ROAS over 2 months, which is really good. Okay, so let's share the screen. Let me just go inside some of this real quick. Okay, this is actually a pretty good ad. I would just say, why do you not talk about the guarantees in any of the ads or on the funnel?
No particular reason, really. Just haven't really thought about it.
I mean, how many, if people are struggling with addiction, how many different ads and times have they thought about going there, but they've never gone because they just don't know if it's actually going to stick. So that's an immediate way that you can stand out. I think it would lower your cost per book call pretty significantly if you were saying, you're all you have to do is make a first line like, we guarantee you'll have this result in 60 days, or you don't pay, and then you can go into the previous ad language below that.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then maybe
Perfect.
massage it
Perfect.
back in into here at the very bottom again. But if you put it at the top and the bottom, I think it's going to have a huge difference on the people that are clicking through and the cost per book call.
Yeah. And would that flag anything in Meta's algorithm, or is that kind of language
I mean, I
driven
can't
anyway?
promise anything, but there's every one of my clients runs a guarantee. That's not an
Yeah.
issue whatsoever.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
And even if it is, it'll you just launch one ad, it'll tell you what the issue is, and then you just slowly massage it until it can pass the algorithm. Okay, let's look at also the actual funnel itself. So first of all, I would remove the exit pop-up. That's actually kind of annoying, to be honest with you. The last call I had, they had it as well. Like that virtually never ever works, and you don't want somebody who is about to exit to like then take a call on your calendar. That's not really like a good use of your time, to be honest with you. So I would remove the exit pop-up, and then to me this is a lot of text, and this is a lot of different colors. This is all like flashing on my face. This is here as well. Like this feels like a lot. And really when it comes to sales funnel, especially for paid ads, less is almost always more. So I would try to simplify this, and I know that purple and this blue is your brand colors, but I would really try to challenge you to make it like just black text, to be honest with you. It's this is harder to read. Like, I'm on this call with you. I still have not read this full thing because it's in all caps, it's in different colors, and there's so much copy here. So I haven't even looked at this one time. So I would try to just make it white with black, and then I would say high functioning professionals, entrepreneurs, colon. So you don't need all this other stuff. We will guarantee you get whatever this thing in 60 days through our system, or you don't pay, without rehab, without rock bottom, without losing everything you've built, or something like that. I would remove this, watch this video, and schedule a confidential call. This is not bad for the gift, but in my opinion, it's like I said, it's just too much going on the screen. So what I would consider doing is, if you can somehow redo this to where it's not showing any text, it's just showing the images part of it. You know what I mean? And then whenever they click on it, it's obviously going to start at the beginning with the text, but you just don't need additional text here if you have text all up there too. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Ready to get control of book one-on-one call. Obviously, like we said, I would try to rework this funnel so that this can be centered. And also, I would say ready for guaranteed recovery or something like that. And then I would say, instead of a book a one-on-one call, you could say like book a rehab roadmap call, book a free rehab roadmap call. And then the sub bullet over there underneath that could be like totally confidential, something like that. Because I like how you said confidential call here, because this is a really sensitive subject. But I would put it underneath the call to action, not necessarily right here.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. And then the final piece of this page that I would say is these 5-star reviews are good. The issue is two things. One, I would do like, you need to have that stat that you said. 98% of our clients see in whatever we said, interruption of addiction. We need to have that, like maybe some numbers right here, like 433 clients served, 98% see addiction, 100% whatever, something after that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then here, the problem with this is it's another block of text. Nobody's going to read each and individual one of these. You don't even have things highlighted here. The first step would be if we could highlight specific areas of it, number one. And number two would be if you can actually build full-blown case studies of this as well. That, like, it could be like a Christian Marion. It's a photo of them if you could do that. And then it could say, uh, father of two, like CEO plus father of two, and then a little like blurb about him. That way it feels more real, it's easier to read, and what you really want these people to do is you want them to read this and think that's me, right? That's what you want them to do. So by just saying like their name with no headshot and this huge block of text, nobody's going to read this and no one's going to think that's me.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. No, that makes sense.
And then ultimately, what I would probably just do is I would take that I closed form in the previous one, and just in the short term, I would just put that when they click this, it pops up the I closed form.
Okay. Okay.
And then
Yeah.
I would
So it's
do
just got eye closed instead.
yeah, but I do think that there are too many I think there are too many questions between both of them. Like in one, you had too little. You just had like, "Are you an executive? Yes or no." And then the other, I think you have too many. I always tell people, I always think that you should have outside of the contact info, which by the way, contact info should never be first on here. It should always be a separate question first, so it's an easier ask to get them started. But I would ask them 2 to 3 qualifying questions. So number one, it could just be a yes or no. Are you a entrepreneur who struggles with addiction and looking to make change? Yes or no? Yes. Number two, how much do you have, or are you making an income every single month? And number three, which specific drug are you addicted to? If you feel like that is necessary for the call. But if that's not like a disqualifier, you could have something else that would be a disqualifier, which could be something like, do you have access to things to invest? How much I don't really like the questions of like, do you have access to money and how much are you willing to invest? Because it's like, people lie on that stuff. It doesn't really make that big of a difference, et cetera, et cetera. So I would either have no additional question, or so it could maybe feel more like a diagnostic call. You could ask them, what is the drug you're addicted to, or what have you tried previously? And so by just doing that, you'll increase your click, because currently your click to booking rate is 0.6% on this funnel, which is really, really low. We want it to be 2%, something like that, 3%, really minimum. So in order to do that, you got to simplify the form and then combine the form and the call into one, which iClose would do if you can get the application question shorter.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. No, that's all good. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. And
And
go ahead,
yeah,
ask the question.
just going to say, in terms of the calendar page and the thank you page, I feel like the kind of new funnel thank you page may have had something to do with the sharp rate. Is there worth kind of blending them? Is like there like something to be had there? I'd love your take on that.
We won't have enough time for me to go through the full thank you page and your pre-call messaging sequence, but if you did feel like it, I mean, that funnel did have a higher show rate. So if you feel like that was the case, then absolutely, you can test that against it. Ultimately, you're going to want to refine the thank you page, but your constraint right now isn't necessarily show rate. In the previous one, even with a low show rate, which was atrocious, by the way, you still were really close to being at a really good CAC to LTGP. So, it's a good lesson for everyone watching this video right now. But I had a call with, actually, funny enough, another, a lot of people don't know, but you were also a previous client of ours. But another previous client of ours, Oscar Tellez, I have another constraint call with him. He was like, dude, I got to fix my close rate. It's 13%. Well, when I did the same math with him, we figured out his CAC to LTGP was like 1 to 58. Like his ROAS was like 116x. And he was over here trying, not scaling ad spend because we wanted to fix his close rate, right? So this is the same example here where it's like, look, even with these numbers, you're still in a money printing machine if you make the changes that I talked about here. So make those changes. And then even if the show rate is bad, be careful changing things because you don't know how much that will impact maybe the close rate, which obviously will affect the numbers.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And would you change it as in like take everything Ravi said, build a new funnel, and just launch it, or would you like A/B test every suggestion into the new funnel? Like,
I don't want to
how would
sound
you
too
do it?
egotistical here, but I would be shocked if the funnel that we just talked about doesn't beat the current one that you have. And it's also, you don't have enough spend to be able to kind of A/B test it really effectively. So I think what I would do is just build the new funnel, run the ads to that specifically, and then if that's you just monitor the numbers. So you want to be getting, your old funnel, you had a $562 cost per acquisition. So spend $1,000 on the new funnel, and if you don't get at least 2 clients from it, then we know that maybe the old funnel might have been better.
Okay, yeah, perfect, perfect. Thank you. That's super helpful.
You got it. So, Luke, just to recap everything really quickly, the main constraint is CAC to LTGP. I think that's really mostly from the price point. I would try to increase the price point, going only after higher end entrepreneurs. And then once we increase the price point, justify it through the sales call. Show them the cost of inaction, show them the cost of choosing something differently, increase the perceived value of your offer by throwing in additional things that don't cost you any more money. And then let's go back to the April funnel, make the changes I talked about here so it's easier to understand, easier to know the guarantee, easier to read the case studies, easier to see the results, the percentage of success that you've had with your current clients, adjust the application/booking to be simpler so that you can have more bookings, copy over that thank you page if you want to. And if you do all of that, we can be climbing closer to like a 30-day 1 to 3 CAC to LTGP and 60 or 90-day 1 to 5 CAC to LTGP.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Awesome. Thank you.
Cool. Luke, thanks so much for coming on here, man. I appreciate you hopping on. If you want me and my team to install any of these systems in your business done for you, make sure you go down below and book a free revenue system diagnostic call. We're going to get on a call, identify your biggest bottleneck, and show you exactly what we would do to solve it there live. The best news is we offer every single client a no questions asked money back guarantee. If you want to be featured on our next Constraint Call, go down below and apply.